If you've been watching this playlist, you've already seen 4 reasons why it is hard to invest in sports cards. But we're going to go into a little bit deeper in this video. And one of the reasons why is because I want to explain exactly why it's hard to invest in sports cards as opposed to making money in sports cards. And if you want to know the difference between investing and making money, stay tuned. Welcome back to EDI Sports Cards. So over the last couple years, we have had millions of people jump into this hobby and start putting hard-earned dollars down on sports cards. And a lot of you watching YouTube thought this was a great way to get rich quick. And guess what? That didn't happen. I don't know if you saw the recent video from Sports Card Investor. I'm going to put the link in the description below where he literally admits he made so many mistakes.
I took an absolute bath on. Worst trade of my life. Worst trade of my life was trading for that card. This card I took a bath on as well. I bought this over a year ago when it was way more expensive than it was today. I took a bath on this one too, a smaller bath. You could be like, damn, I'm taking a bath on some of these. It stinks to have to do that. On the other hand, I'm kind of happy to have them out of my collection, right? And to kind of get that era in the past. The thing is, you can't ever really worry what you paid for something. It just doesn't matter. That's your sunk cost in the card. What it matters is what it's worth today, and if you can trade it in or cash it in for something better today. So I can't worry about what I traded for to get those cards. I've got what I've got today. And today, I'm trying to go after a card I really want.
He said in his video, I took a bath on these cards. And he said to all of you, and I don't know if you heard him, you can't dwell on the past. It is what it is. He lost a ton of money. And you could see it in his eyes. He lost $100,000, $200,000. $300,000 of value because he thought that everything was going up. And I'm here to tell you that's the trap. So what is the 5th reason why you cannot invest in sports cards? And here's the answer. The market. Now, what do I mean by the market? There is no market. That's what I mean. One of the things that you have to understand when you have an investment, this is not something that's a collectible. See, collectible is different than an investment. When you have an investment, you need to have an actual market. So in reason number 1, if the video, you can go back and watch it. Reason number 1 was the exchange problem. We don't have a universal exchange for sports cards. Part of the problem with no exchange is that you have no market. Now, if Fanatics is watching this or if ComC is watching this, eBay, I think, is a lost cause, to be honest. I think they're too big, and I don't think they care. But if ComC is watching this, if MySlabs is watching this, if any one of the lower end, the smaller end marketplaces are watching this, this is what you need to do if you want to actually build a market, okay? You need to have an idea of all of the cards that are out there. When you go to Wall Street, okay, so if you go to the New York Stock Exchange, if you go to NASDAQ, if you try to buy any stock, you are buying a share, but you know how many shares there are. When you buy a card, you have no idea how many cards there are. So you are literally guessing what you should pay. Not only that, but there's no market. A flea market is not a market. I need to make that very clear. A flea market is not an investment market. An investment market means that there's buyers and sellers and the prices are set based on what you can get on the market. We don't have that in the hobby. When you go to auction, it's like a market, but not really. Because if people decide they don't want to go to the auction, see, like, you don't have to worry about going to the stock exchange to buy your stocks. They have a market. You can either have a broker or you can do an online account, but you can set the price that you want to pay for a stock, put it into the online app, and when it hits that price, you buy it. But you got to have the money in your account to buy the stock. If you wanted to do sports cards the same way, you would have a market. You would basically have an app. You'd put money into your account, and you could put how much you would pay for a specific card. And when that card came down to that level or went up to that level, because if you're selling it, like I want to sell at this price, then it would find the buyer for you. That's called a market. eBay is not a market, it's a marketplace. It's a flea market. It's the largest flea market in the world, but it's a flea market. You are still required. You still are responsible to find the buyer. That doesn't happen in the New York Stock Exchange. It doesn't happen on the NASDAQ. You are not responsible to find the buyer when you sell your stock. The exchange creates the market, so people come to the market, and when they want to buy, you are selling what you want to sell. I am a hoarder, a mini hoarder at this point, thankfully, because I sold 6 million cards. Sold them all. Thankfully, I found someone who would buy that much inventory. You probably on YouTube are not the person who's buying 6 million cards. You don't have the storage space. You don't have the time to go through it. 6 million cards would overwhelm you guys in about 3 minutes. But the problem is that I had nowhere to go. And that's what all of you are having a problem with right now. Yes, you can go to eBay and try to sell your cards, but will you sell it for what it's worth? Who knows? Because you have no idea how much it's worth because there's no market. You're buying cards, you're thinking that you're buying what you're buying, but you don't know. That's why the card companies that print unknown amounts of cards are the only ones winning in this whole hobby. As collectors, as people who buy cards, and if you're trying to invest, you're screwed. So you need to be aware that there's no market. So fanatics, if you want to create a market, if you really want to help this hobby, ComC, if you want to help this hobby, My Slabs, if you want to help this hobby, there needs to be a market. That means that you know how many cards there are. Like if you're selling a card, you kind of have to just be like, I'm selling. You can't set the price when you're selling. You can only set the price as a buyer. I don't know if you guys understand that. You cannot set a price as a seller in a market. This isn't a home. This is a sports card. Like a stock, if you want it to be an investment, you don't set the price as the seller. It's the buyer that sets the price. So if you want to not sell, you have every option to say, I'm going to hold and I don't want to sell. But the minute you go to sell, if you want this to be an investment, it's what the buyer will pay. That's how a market works. None of you seem to understand that. You guys have listings on eBay that are 1 month old, 2 months old, a year, 2 years. I know some of you have cards on eBay for 3 or 4 years. That's not a market. That's called a flea market. That's called, yeah, I hope that I get this for this card. Do you really want to, like, that's not an investment. If you want to make the money back, if you want to be like, look, I want to take the cash because cash is king, then I want to sell these cards, and the seller does not set the market. The buyers do. So if there's demand for a card, that price is going to go up. If there's no demand for a card, that price is going to come down. The problem is that with eBay, it's individual sales. That's not how this works. If you really want a market, that means that everybody puts up their card and then they sell all at the same time. All at the same time. That's how you set a market. So if you've got a Derek Jeter rookie card, 1993 Topps, Derek Jeter rookie card, not the gold, just the regular, and everybody puts it up, and then basically they sell them all at the same time because that's the market. That's the market. Then you really know how much that card is worth because now you've hit all the demand. You've hit all the demand. If you want that card, here you go. This is how much you need to pay for it. And if you don't want to pay that, that's fine because there's other buyers. This isn't a market. If you want a card, but somebody else has the card, but you can't get the card because they're charging too much, that's not a market. That's not an investment. That's called a hope and a prayer. And again, if you don't understand all of that, go watch reason number 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we'll get to where we are here in reason number 5. If you have other questions, put them in the comments. I like the questions. I want to thank everybody for the questions. I will do more videos to explain these answers. But put your questions in the comment. Please share this video if you think it's valuable. And hopefully if somebody knows someone at Fanatics, hopefully they're watching this. Somebody knows someone at ComC, they're watching this. And somebody knows someone at My Slabs, they're watching this. We need to get people who actually run these companies to understand that they have an opportunity, like a golden opportunity, to really be the dominant player in this hobby. This is the wild, wild west. We have no rules. We have no transparency. We have nothing. We have nothing. So anybody that comes in that starts to actually put pen to paper will become the dominant player in this hobby, and they will make a fortune. If they want more help, please just contact me. I'm more than willing to help. But these are the reasons why you cannot invest in sports cards. Hopefully that made sense. Thank you for joining. I'll see you in the next one.